What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is gonna be your review of Greenleaf season 3, episode 2, or the second part of the season premiere. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. So look, you guys, the web is continuing to be spun, and we're starting to see how people are getting caught up in this whole mess. So we start off with the bishop in the guest bedroom, and he can't sleep on that daggone hard mattress that they let the guests sleep on when they come to visit. He need his California King, top of the line mattress. And so he's tossing and turning. So he takes his happy tail up in his bedroom like he about to strong arm May ass into letting him sleep in his own bed. She said, "I don't know where you think you're going." He said, "That I can't sleep on that mattress." She said, "You can sleep on the couch." He said, we got to keep up appearances. She said, we keep up appearances out there. But in here, we don't have nobody to pretend for. We ain't going to pretend for the kids, and we certainly ain't going to pretend for ourselves. You ain't getting up in this bed. So, I guess he thought that the fear of the house staff knowing would get her to let him. But she was like, no, you got to get up out here. So, then we see Gigi decides that not last week, yesterday's episode, Gigi said she's going to have to figure out this whole thing with Miss Cross, with Rochelle. And she said that, I think she's trying to decide to keep her enemies close, and she said if she's going to be throwing around money, I'm going to at least let her spend some money on something I want. So she calls her up and says, for them to meet. And when they end up meeting, she has a really good idea. She wants to create a defense fund for women who are victims of domestic abuse, whether it be, sexual abuse or something like that. And Miss Cross is like, "Oh, that is a wonderful idea. I will get my clients on it. We good to go." She was like, "I can get you." She said, "How much you think you want?" She said, "Well, 25." She said, "Oh no, we're gonna get you 50." I said, "Okay, Miss Cross, playing your part." So we see the bishop and first lady going through their little schedule because they great teach the class called The Vow, all about marriage and love. And Gigi was like, "Well, I'm glad y'all going through with that." And of course, here goes bishop, first lady. Well, what do you mean by that? And she said, "You know what, Gigi?" And then she go blaming Gigi for everything again. She said, "You need to be paying more attention to your own inconsistencies instead of worrying about what's going on over here." Gigi was like, "What you talking about?" She said, "Your own sexual commerce running back and forth over Memphis with that old boy toy boyfriend you got." Gigi was like, "Look, I don't even have the energy to fight with you. It's always my fault. I'm out. Deuces." So, they get today, because she did the same thing yesterday. Everything was Gigi's fault. The world crumbling and Gigi did it. So, now we're at the church, and the bishop and first lady come through there like they just got off their honeymoon. They just like grinning and smiling and holding hands and lovey-dovey, and it's baby this and baby that, and they playing it up, honey. And they tell, his receptionist is the granddaughter of the woman they trying to get this money from. I think Miss Jackson, who they trying to get this money from. And they said, "Call your grandmother, your nana. We want to have dinner with her." And of course, Carissa looking like, "Oh, alright then." And of course they all lovey-dovey, excuse me, till they get behind closed doors. Once they get behind closed doors, it's like, "Alright, you go back to your corner, I go back to my corner," kind of thing. And so then we have Jacob and Carissa. The one thing, no, I'm gonna stay with this for a minute. So then Cross is still roaming around the church after her little meeting with Gigi. So she runs into the bishop and she says, "I know we're supposed to be keeping our distance, but, I was in the building and I just had to say hi and, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Yeah, it's cool. How you doing?" He playing it cool. He like, "How you doing? How's everything going?" And she tries to kind of cozy up to him again, but she said something about staying at the Biltmore getting to be a little expensive. And he said, "Oh, well, I wouldn't know. I'm back home." And that just kind of blew her for a minute. She was like, you can see that through her whole little plan. Also, you almost see her mentally changing gears, like, okay, I gotta come up with a different tactic. So she ends up having a conversation with the first lady. She gets the comment, oh, how you doing, first lady? And she's like, and of course May playing her part. How you doing, Miss Cross? And she said, how is our Zora doing? And she said, I don't know. What do you mean, our Zora? Well, I mean, is she back home safe? I was so happy to know. I'm so happy to hear she got back home safe. I mean, is she okay? And the thing I love about May, you ain't never gonna see her sweat. You could see that in her mind, she was trying to figure out, now how the fuck did she know what's going on with Zora, and that Zora ran away? But she ain't gonna give Cross the satisfaction of knowing that. So she said, I've always been the kind of woman to just stand and fight. They sending those subliminal messages back and forth to each other, but she letting her know, honey, what you not gonna do, you ain't gonna get this without a fight. I'm the first lady up in this piece, and I'm gonna be the first lady up in this piece. And so they have a little, one of those little silent standoffs. You know how that go. Alright, crosstown at Triumph, we got Clarissa and Jacob. The one thing I noticed in this episode, y'all, Jacob is happy. Jacob is happy. He finally has what he thinks he has been working for all this time. He's got his church, a good church. He's doing some great things with the homeless ministry. And he really is happy. He got some issues with his daughter, and he know that the church might have a little cash flow thing, but he feels he's really ready for, you could just see it. You could see that he's just happy. But on this one, it's Clarissa. Now remember, the first 2 seasons, all Clarissa was trying to do was prop this man up to be the head of the church. He was ready for the responsibility. He was ready to be head of the church, and she was ready to be his first lady. But now that she's there, she's finding out that it's a lot harder juggling being first lady, being principal, being I'm every woman, running her, raising her children. She's finding out it's not as easy as she thought it was going to be, or as glamorous either. And they had a new member meeting that Clarissa was supposed to be there for, but she got caught up in a parent-teacher conference with some old jackass parents who think their child is the best thing since sliced bread, honey. I deal with it all the time. I know exactly where she was coming from. And those are the type of parents you just can't make happy. And basically, their son got a B on an essay that they felt like he should have got an A on because he's not no scholarship kid. And we donate a lot of money to the school, so what are you going to do about it? And Clarissa was like, well, I have to stand by my teacher on this. Well, you read this essay and tell us if you think this is a B paper. So while she's dealing with this, the new membership meeting is going on. And little Miss Helpful Tasha, she done already helped the bishop. She done already helped Jacob put his little list together of the names and phonetically spelled out the names that are a little questionable. Honey, I deal with it all the time. We got some questions. Parents, sidebar. Stop trying to be creative with your children's names, goddammit. If your son's name is Christopher, spell that shit Christopher. Don't be throwing no KHRY. That's not Christopher. It's kryptonite. Stop that shit. Stop trying to be creative with your child's name. Billionaires and millionaires can be creative with their child's name because their child ain't never gonna have to work. Okay? Northwest can be Northwest. Her name can be a goddamn direction. Because she ain't never going to have to worry about going to a job interview and explaining why her parents thought it was funny to name her ass after a direction. Apple Paltrow ain't never going to have to explain to nobody why her name is Apple. She ain't never going to have that conversation. You understand what I'm saying? Stop it, parents. Okay, I'm back. So anyway, Tasha helps Jacob do the new membership meeting. So Carissa comes in at the end of it and she gets apologizing for being late. And I'm waiting for Jacob to have an attitude with her because she said she was going to be there. He reminded her about the meeting, but he didn't. That's why I say he is really, truly happy. He didn't. He said, sweetie, I understand. You work hard taking care of the family and juggling all your responsibilities. Don't worry about it. I know that you are working hard for us. I know that it just is what it is, man. I was waiting for him to have an attitude, but he didn't. So, but in the meantime, while she's in the meeting, come to find out, this lady comes up and she thinks Tasha's the first lady because, of course, they ran the meeting together, Tasha and Jacob. And that made her feel some kind of way. Carissa was like, but Jacob was like, oh, no, 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 she's the first lady. Like, they handled it in the proper way, but they put a little seed in there. You understand what I'm saying? And then I started peeping Tasha's game. I said, okay, I see the game Tasha's playing. Tasha's setting the same honey trap for Jacob that Miss Cross is trying to set for the bishop, right? Because I was trying to figure out what Tasha's play was, but now I see what her play is. She got rid of the accountant, so now she's running the money, which you better be careful about her being in charge of the money. I feel like some okie doke is going to go on with the money. And also she's making herself indispensable, so that you feel like you need her and you can run the church and she's going to be there to help you out. Jacob is trying to, he decides he wants to get a gift for Carissa just to let her know, look, I love you. I know you working hard for the family. I got you, boo. And Tasha sees him shopping. And Tasha got this is the second episode. She got one of these old big ass chains on with the diamonds and shit, like one of those rapper chains, honey. Yesterday was the praying hands. Today it's the big old cross. But anyway, so, she convinces him that he needs to get her some jewelry and that you can't do that online. You can't order no jewelry off Amazon. Let me take you down to my jeweler and go down to where I get my jewelry from. So they go down to the jewelry shop and she convinces him to buy this expensive ass necklace for Carissa. And she tries it on and takes a picture of herself with it on, right? So you know that's going to be some trouble, right? And, but he buys it and he gives it to Carissa. And Carissa, because he came home and was being all acting a little funky, acting a little shady, and she was worried because in the back of her mind, she thinking, okay, where you been? You came in the house, your breath smelling like liquor. What's really good? What's really going on? And he gives her the necklace, And she's very thankful. And she's like, meet me in the bedroom, honey. Because he told her, he said, you my first lady. I love you. I just want to let you know that I care about you and that, I appreciate all that you do. So she was like, meet me in the bedroom. So when she leaves to go in the bedroom, who sends him a picture of her with the necklace on? Tasha. Watch that bitch. See, Jacob being set up for the honey trap and he don't even know it. I don't know if he see it or not, but that honey trap is being set up. So that was that. I kind of moved a little ahead with that story, but anyway, we'll get back to that. So then we see Zora done come through. Zora trying to get them to let her use the phone. See, Jacob game recognized game. Jacob must already know the little tricks because Jacob told my son, okay, here go the phone. He said, who you want to call? You want to call that boy? She said, no, I want to call Sophia and apologize. I want to invite her over. I owe her an apology. Jacob like, oh, okay, all right, here go the phone. But make the phone call right here in front of us. So then Zora told me something, never mind. I said, never mind. Because your ass wasn't about to call no damn Sophia. But Sophia does end up coming over. And she apologizes. Sophia was like, I'm so glad you called me over. I thought you were mad at me. She said, oh, I was mad at you. She said, but I'm over it. She said, but you can do me a favor. I said, oh, here come the bullshit. She gonna pull out that money she stole from the offering plate last week. Now, somebody on Twitter last night was saying they thought it was for an abortion. And I said, you know what? She might have been trying to, we know it's more than $20, but you take 20 here, 20 there, 20 here, 20 there, 50 here, 100 there. But she gave the girl a 20 or was trying to get a girl a 20. Said, can you give me one of them prepays from Walmart or something like that? Like, I'm dying. I don't have no connection with the outside world. And here goes Sophia. She said, are you going to use that phone to call whatever that boy name is? And she sort of hesitates and everything. Sophia said, I ain't doing it. She said, that boy beats you. He treats you like trash. I'm not going to support that. Nope, I will not. So, of course, Zora is in her feelings and stuff again. But here's the thing about Sophia. Sophia is still a good friend. Because on her way out the door, Sophia convinced Jacob and Carissa to let the girl have her TV back. Because girl ain't have a TV, phone, nothing. So she said, and Jacob told her, he said, Sophia convinced us that we should trust you. So I'm going to let you have your TV back. He still ain't give her phone, but slowly he's giving her some of her privileges back. So even though Sophia didn't do what you wanted her to do, Sophia was still a good friend to you. Sophia's a good girl. A little too good, but that might be another storyline for another season. Because this storyline got a whole enough going on with it. So, all right, back to let's do Charity. Let's deal with Charity, and then we can deal with Bishop and May. Charity and Kevin. All right. They have 2 or 3 conversations about Kevin having the baby. Charity promises Jabari she gonna be back for the next gig. And I think Charity had decided, because she was talking to Clarissa, matter of fact, the night that Jacob came home smelling like liquor and Carissa ain't know where he had been. She was talking to Carissa, and Carissa was telling her, look, you might just go ahead, he could really take you to court. You might need to just go ahead and let him, keep the baby while you on tour. She said it's only for 6 weeks. And Carissa was, Charity was like, that's right, it was only for 6 weeks. It's not like 6 months. For 6 weeks, daycare is not a bad thing. She was saying to Kevin, daycare is not a bad thing. Kevin said, no, it's not. But why can't he stay with me? What's the problem? So I think Charity has sort of decided to let Kevin keep that baby. She went and visited the apartment, and she's looking around, and Kevin has everything she needs. He already got every question she has. He's able to answer, like all that other stuff, the crib and everything, all of that. He got everything ready for this baby. And Carissa, I keep wanting to call that girl Carissa. And just like last night, I kept calling Cora Zora Cora. I know it's Zora, y'all. I know. And here come the boyfriend walking up in the door with a key. What'd he do that for? Charity looks at Kevin, and she says, does he live here? Kevin said no, he's just here visiting for a few days. And Kevin knew. The minute that key hit the lock, Kevin knew he was fucked. Charity says, like she has that look. Next thing you know, she calling Jabari, telling him she quitting the tour altogether. She ain't coming back. She said, but Jabari, she said, it's just a job, but I can't right now. I can't leave right now. It's just a job. He's like, this is a great opportunity. She said, I know, but it's just a job. I just really need to be home right now. She said, but are we still okay? Girl, he hung up on her. I guess that's a no. All right. Let's untangle this web we got going on with the bishop and the first lady. So I want to make sure we left off at the right place. So the bishop and the first lady invite Miss Jackson over, and they give her the old song and dance, and come to find out they get ready to celebrate their 45th wedding anniversary, and and she says, oh, where are you guys going for a trip? And they kind of have this dumb look on their face. She said, oh, did I ruin the surprise? And he's like, nah, you ain't ruined nothing. She said, nah, you ain't ruined nothing over here. Well, come to find out, I'm sorry, not come to find out. They play their game, y'all. They know how to, they old school with this. They know how to play the game and play lovey-dovey and all that, even though they was throwing subliminals back and forth the whole night, And they end up telling her, look, we're in a little bit of trouble. And she said, oh, so that's why y'all invited me over? And he was honest. He said, no, that wasn't the only reason. He said, but yeah, we need some help. And he said, we got this tax bill. She said, again? He said, it's the same one. We thought Mac took care of it, but he didn't. And she was like, well, I guess you can't really, you can't cuss Mac out. Like, I guess nothing you can do about it. If Mac screwed you over, he screwed you over. And she said, look, that's a lot of money. She said, y'all don't have it? Which a lot of people were saying that yesterday, like, they ain't got it. But she said, no, they said, no, they said, we've had a rough couple of years, and we just not real liquid right now. He said, I could probably come up with a couple of $100,000, but I can't come up with that kind of money. Not in the time period that they needed. So she was like, I don't know, that's a lot of money. And you could see she just kind of feeling kind of funky, right? But she ends up giving them the money. She ends up letting them know that she's going to give them the money and everything. So he comes back in the house, and he's all happy after he done walked her to the car. He's like, yes, we got the money. Hey, honey, First Lady lays into his ass about Cross, wanting to know how does she know about Zor. Oh, is that when you were down at the Belmont? What was it, the Belmont Hotel? What do they call it? The Biltmore. Oh, when you were down at the Biltmore Hotel, is that when you went crying to her, went crying on her shoulder when I put you out? Oh, is that what you did? He said, you know what? I don't know. He was like, I don't know why you insist on creating something that's not there. He said, you gonna push me into an affair with this woman. He said, there's nothing going on with me and Mrs. Cross. He said, but I'm gonna tell you what I am tired of. I'm sick and tired of you acting like you righteous in all of this. Like you ain't done nothing wrong either. You gonna keep throwing my sins back in my face when you really need to be looking in the mirror and dealing with your own. I said, oh, Bishop, you done pushed him too far now. So, of course, she gets indignant and runs into the room, runs upstairs. So, in the meantime, Gigi's over with her boyfriend. She over with Rick Fox, and they talking, and she's telling him, about what's going on. And he said, I don't understand why you're trying to do business with Miss Cross if you're so worried about her. She said, well, hell, she there. We might as well get something out of the deal. She said, but I don't know. I don't like what's going on. And so then Rick Fox gonna switch it, talking about some, well, you sure it's her and not your father? She like, what you mean? I mean, maybe your father's flirting with her. Gigi was like, no, my father wouldn't do that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and go home tonight. He said, oh, why don't you just stay here? That's why you gonna leave? She said, you know what? My mother's just been throwing stuff out. She told me that I'm running around town sexually. Sorry about that. So then he's going to say, well, you just, don't be a hypocrite. You're going to go home just because your mommy, said so. And she said, look, I just don't want to hear her mouth. It'll just get her off my back. So then he starts talking about her being a hypocrite. And don't be a hypocrite like all the rest of them family. Be who you are. We just got finished having sex. What's the problem? You might as well just spend the night. Like Gigi's like, you know what? Thank you. He was like, for what? Thank you for making it easier for me to go home. Because you could see she was just disgusted. She was just irritated and disgusted by the whole situation. So, then she comes home and she called herself confronting the bishop because his mama upstairs crying and she's upset. And she was like, I just don't understand. He was like, and you could see he had been drinking and everything. And he was like, look, I'm not going to do this with you tonight, Gigi. I ain't doing this with you. And she called herself confronting him about the affair with Mavis and why he keep, flirting with Cross, why he letting her, knowing that it bothers mama. Like, why are you even doing that? He said, look, I'm not going to keep being the bad guy around here. And he told Gigi about her mother's affair. So, of course, now Gigi looking crazy and she ends up apologizing, right? She's like, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, you sorry now. So then Gigi goes up and confronts the mama. Is it true that you had an affair with whatever the boy's name, Tim Reed? Because that's his real name, And now, she's indignant. May is indignant. Like, I don't believe that you had the audacity. Like, don't you come in here but you, again, she mad. She pissed down. So the next day, she marches into the bishop's office. He on the phone. She tells him, you get off that phone right now. You hang up. So he puts the call on hold. And she tells him, she said, look, how dare you? She said, how dare you tell Gigi the only secret that I had? How dare you do that to me? She said, I tell you what. When this whole tax issue is done and over with, I'm divorcing your black ass. I said, oh, First Lady said, I'm divorcing your black ass. Then she turns around and she says, and don't keep people on hold. It's rude. Honey, and that's where it ends. This thing about to be a whole nother set of shit. Y'all let me know how y'all felt about that episode.